Bada bing! What's good, people? Signing in. Little reviewage. Yeah, I do a reaction channel called King of the Pit TV where I listen to all the way through records, man. Full-length records, and we end up going through the entire discography of particular bands, given you would be interested in listening to them. I've been listening to Nirvana because Nirvana attracts, to this day, a great response and engagement, and still fulfills the needs of a lot of people. You know what I mean? Connects through the message and through the music and through the energy, which is why Nirvana are Nirvana. Really good, stood the test of time, connecting to the generations that are coming and going more so than ever before. And this is going to be my little run through of the album Bleach. So just to recap myself, it was a moment since I did my listen through to Bleach, but I thought, you know what, on my drive I'll bang it back on. I listened to so many tunes. I didn't go through the whole record, maybe about the first third of the record, and I thought, you know what, we'll have a little sit down, we'll have a little talk on what I thought of it. Now, initially, when I started listening to the record, I just assumed on my first listen through that it was the trio I'm familiar with seeing associated with Nirvana. I thought Grohl was on the drums, and whomever it was the bassist Chris Novoselic or something on the bass. I think he still is on the bass, and you do obviously have Kurt fronting the band and on the guitars, but there is another guitarist credited, and correct me if I'm wrong, this was information given to me by someone who, you know, a Nirvana fan who corrected me where I was wrong on my naivete. And there was a completely different drummer whose surname was Channing, I think. Now, as far as Dave and Channing separation in the drums, because I did go on to listen to Nevermind and In Utero afterwards, they did have the same vibe when it came to Nirvana, because Channing on that drum kit during Bleach, the record I'm referencing now, really giving it some welly, really powerful on that drum kit, really emphasizing the position he has and giving Nirvana the energy, the angst, the explosive value that probably appealed to so many people, appealed to the labels, and got them, you know, pushed into, you know, the ever-flowing mainstream. So, the drums, fantastic. The bass lines, fantastic. The guitars, fantastic. The vocal lines, absolutely brilliant. Each and every member of the band on the recording of this record, in the writing of the record, play a real monumental part and provide a element to the music that is ever so necessary. The bassist isn't just playing you know, simple bass lines and root notes and could be replaceable. The drummer, like I said initially, is just attacking that drums and giving it that primitive expression that is necessary for the expression and energy that band needed. Kurt's vocal lines are one of a kind as far as the lyrical content is concerned, definitely. A little bit nonsensical. Honestly, it's not my style of lyrical content. I like a nice melody here and there, and, you know, a little more melodical value, as well as dumbing down the lyrical content a bit. I don't like too much ambiguity within the message, you know. I don't want to have to work it out. I just want it given to me and understood. I like a pop music radio sort of message, you know. But, you know, you can't go wrong, because them lyrics, being a little bit guised in mystery and being able to project your own meaning, adds more food for thought for whomever is listening. And some of them can be, you know, perceived as a little bit edgy, alright? So you can think, what did he mean by that? What the hell? You know where I'm coming from. So I can't hate him for that. The vocal performance, you know what I mean? Not metal, but not punk at the same time. Like a murmured screaming onslaught. Sometimes he really gives it the big one when it comes to that screaming. Really powerful. Great vocal performance. Lyrically speaking, you know, half and half. I don't mind the lyrical content, but at the same point, as far as the sound is concerned, the production, I got told was, you know what I mean, a $600, $700 production for the entire record, which, you know, you pay for what you get when it comes to these music producers and sound engineers. So it shouldn't sound as good as it does. It sounds really good. I don't know how much that was back in the day. It was probably worth quite a bit more than what we would consider $600 to $700 in this day. But it's still relatively cheap considering the soundscape that was created on the following two records. And them two records are a little fresher in my mind because I listened to the discography, I listened to the free studio records. It was quite the pleasure, actually. There was a little bit of a death metal element when it came to this record. Some of these stop and start stabby moments, like the beating on the toms, dun dun dun, and the horrible fuzz on the guitar, created an atmosphere like, you know, some traditional gloomy death metal-esque bands. Most definitely. I think the producer must have had his hand on, you know what I mean, how to set up a nice tone on that guitar and have it replicate, you know, the deep dreariness of some of them records, because unless they came across it by chance, I felt there was a little bit of a death metal aspect to what I was hearing. A lot of feedback, a lot of fuzz, and a lot of single line guitar licks, which I find quite a unique selling point when it comes to Nirvana. Very good with the guitar riffs, very unique guitar riffs, and in having unique guitar riffs, I find that they also have unique sounds, and each and every song you listen to is different to the next. They don't have a they stay within the box of Nirvana. They have their boundaries, but they have a different element, they just have a different song, each and every song, as opposed to rehashing the same sounds and the same concepts. And that definitely comes from that expression of youth, because me, I could try to work around that. I'm a songwriter. I could try to work around that when I was younger easier than now. Now I'm a bit older. You find it so easy to stay within the box and not break through, and you know what I mean, that creative element you once had whilst you were as young as these were back then sort of disintegrates a little more so as you get older and get stuck in your ways and your patterns. So that's amplified real well on this record. So overall, as far as Bleach is concerned, me personally, as far as my tastes, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'm going to talk on the next two records, which will get a better rating from me. But Bleach, the initial effort, the initial LP from Nirvana, gets a 6 out of 10 from me. It's a good listen. It's full of character. And that's enough from me. I'm signing out. It's a peaceful love.